Great. Um, everybody, welcome to day 4 of Starknet Basecamp. So today we will be having Crunchy Cousin. He is going to have this is his second session. So the first session, it was like the day 1. We are pleased to have him open the Devcamp and close the Devcamp for first week with us. So yeah, like I mentioned before, this is going to be the landing page again, because so many people are still DMing, asking about information our information are here. So I just wanted to make everybody aware, because I understand some of them hadn't joined the previous session, so they are quite confused. So it's understandable, but this is going to be the landing page, and you're going to update all the information here. As you can see, we have day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4 content already uploaded. All the presentation links are here, and also the video links are also updated here. So the ones that are actually blank, it means the session has not happened yet. So the session will be happening as we update it real time for you guys. So today's session, we are going to have Starknet Development Workflow, and it's going to be facilitated by Country Cousin. So Country Cousin, please feel free to introduce yourself. And then for the people that don't know you yet, I understand you had already done that for the first session, but it will be nice to also introduce yourself again for this session. And then we can get started, and then you can confirm to me if you can share your screen, and then you can get started.
Oh, GM, everybody. Is that loud and clear? Let's start.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Welcome everybody to another session of the Bootcamp. So for the past couple of days, we've been exploring Starknet, Cairo, and I hope we'll be having a good time. And I hope we'll be learning a thing or two. So today we are going to build on what we've been learning over the past couple of days. On Monday, we were introduced to the fundamentals, more of theories and how Starknet, the flow and everything. Then Tuesday, we got to understand what kind of the syntax and actually went a little bit far, which is very good for us. Yesterday, we took some time to understand the flow underneath. Of course, we were introduced to a smart contract. So writing a smart contract. So today we are going to build, like I said earlier, we're going to build on what's already and see how far we can go today. Today, let me share my screen. So
yes, please.
Yeah. All right, I believe you can see my screen right now.
Yeah, we can see your screen. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No worries.
So today we are, like I said earlier, we are going to build on what we already know. So this is the slide. Let me share this with everyone at first so that I have access to it. I'm doing this in the chat. All right. So everybody can actually access the slides from the comment section. All right. So today we are going to build a basic, okay, Ian, you have a question, please? Your hand is raised.
Sorry, Country Cousin, can you enlarge it to slideshow so you can have a bigger view?
Okay, I don't know if that's what. Okay, Macaria, there's something you want to say. Your hand is raised. Looks like it's not with us, he or she. All right. So, uh, so the slide is very small. Like slide show. Is that better?
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay. So, today is all about Starknet, development workflow. Don't let the big grammar here kind of confuse you, just like normal thing we've been doing. So you already know my name and what I do. So we need to go right. Now today's agenda, we are going to write a very basic smart contract, like a counter contract with basic functionalities such as incrementing value, decrementing, and then we can actually reset the values in the contract to zero and then start over. Of course, we have to like have a function that gets the balance, yeah, accounts. So I do believe everybody already have their environment set up. I mean, Scab should be there, working and fully operational. So I don't know about Foundry because we are going to be making use of Foundry. So please confirm in the comment section if you have not installed Foundry. People that have not installed Foundry, please confirm in the chat section so we know what to do. Then what other tools we'll be using? Tosin. Okay. Tosin is raising the no, let me see. Get Tosin. Okay, Tosin, if you have any question, please just write it down so that you can get it. Okay. George said he has not installed it. All right. Who else? Please, this is going to be a hands-on session, so we're going to be coding along as we go. And yes, Starknet Foundry. Starknet Foundry. That's what I meant. Starknet Foundry. No other foundry. Starknet Foundry. All right. All right. Wow. A lot of people have not installed. Does it mean you have not been working with with your Cairo? You have not been practicing what you've been doing so far? All right. No problems. Let's get started from there. So I will be opening these docs. I think we actually have it somewhere in the slide. Sure. So this is Starknet Foundry. It's like a tool, when you want to test, like a framework for testing, because it makes your life a lot easier. Okay. So I will need us to like install these so that we get started because we have so much to cover today. All right, I will be sending the link now to the shadow. I had difficulties getting it started. If you had difficulties, why didn't you just ask like in the group and someone will help you as opposed to keeping quiet? You know? Okay, for those of us that are not having issues, you can follow the link. It's very, very basic, very, very simple. So this is like the steps. Requirement, you need to have Scab, and I believe everybody should make this. So we must have Rust installed as well on the PC. Um, Then these are the architectures of, that are supported for people on Linux and Mac OS. You can, if you have not installed ASDF before now, just install it using the script. I mean, that should be a lot faster. Later on, you can always set up your environment the way you want. Pin picks. Then for Windows users, you are to like use WSL like we're using. So if you do that, you are just going to follow these same formats that are people of Linux and Mac OS are using. All right. So I'll get started with what we have for the day. So going back all the way to the top. Like I said, these are the agendas. Then we get to deploy the contracts on testnet, of course, using Starkli. So we are going to install another it's actually a tool, a CLI tool, command line interface, like for it to use to interact with the Starknet network. So if you want to deploy, interact with your deployed contracts, so you use Starkli. We are going to use that, and then we test the contract we are going to write as well. See what that feels like. So here we go. Now, like I said, this is going to be a hands-on session, so I will need us to work along so that I'll be having some feedback from you. Now, I'm trying to create the project file from which I will work. So I have start version. I think it's best you follow the same version that I have. This is my start version. Then my Foundry SN Forge. This is how you check the version as well. Is this okay? No need to check the version of Starkli for now. When we get there, we do that. So far, I hope we are following. So I will be using my scarf view to call it count, right? Count. Count. That is fine. Then I'll be using Foundry today. Before now, we used to use the second guy here, Cairo test. All right, let me make this bigger a bit. I think that should be fine. Please, if it's not okay, Esther, you can help me back so that everybody will be on the right track. So, but today I'll be using Foundry because it offers a lot of flexibility, helping us do what we set out to achieve. These are just warning. Then I will go into the directory, cd, at least the town, right? So I'll open my VS Code. All right. So this is what it looks like. Let me expand this a bit. Right. Okay, somebody said they're joining for the first time. Okay, just listen up and follow the session. You'll be fine. All right, so to get started, I'll just clean everything here because we don't need it for now. And then go to my source folder. I'll clean everything as well. Let's just go through this and understand what is going on here. This is the name of our project, count. We have version, edition, dependency. This is Starknet, and we're using version this. Without this particular guy here, it means you're writing normal Cairo programs. You're not writing a smart contract. But once you include this person here, then see it's a dependency. Then we are using um, Starknet Foundry version this. See that? And then there's a lot of things here actually. Then for testing, we use this script here. Then we're setting our, you know, targets contract, like we're setting it to true. So we want it created because we'll be needing it to deploy and interact with our smart contracts. Okay. First thing, like we were told yesterday, if you want to write a smart contract, first thing you have to do is create the blueprint. Okay, it's like we have an operation here. Right. So first thing you have to do is have your blueprint, like we were told yesterday, because without the blueprint, you don't actually have the direction as to where you're going to. So to have the blueprint here, we define an interface, right? So we say this Starknet interface. And then because we are going to be interacting with this interface from outside of the contract, we're going to make it public. Call it rate. So call it I counter T contract state. So right here, we then populate depending on how many functionalities you want your contract to have. Okay, I have a chart. Let me see. When I create a new project using Starknet from folder, it's not coming with. Okay, I don't know which command did you use in creating the project. Simi, I believe if you use tab new, then the name of your project, you should have two options, of which you are meant to choose Starknet Foundry. Okay, and you chose what? Actually, okay, in first function actually should be function of the Starknet workplace. This thing is something we should have. Is there any other person having the same issue? Okay, you know what, Simi? Just sit back and follow the class. Maybe after the class we can meet up and we find a solution to your problem. All right, so that we don't, because we have so much to actually cover. And, let's do the best we can to do just that. All right, thank you. So function, say get count, right? Uh, get count is a read only, so it's going to be self. We take snapshot of T contract state. Then it's going to return something, right? It's going to return U32. Get counter. Just add this get counter. So second function should be the increment. So increment count. increase um, now this is going to change state, so we use reference type what t contract state, and it's not going to return anything. Next one should be decrement. Decrease counter. I'm gonna change state as well. Go with contract state. Then finally, we have a functionality that can reset. Is that correct? Set counter, I think so. All right. Reset counter. So these are the 4 functionalities of pricing that we have in our contract. After this is the blueprint. Then we begin. Starknet, we tell the compiler, okay, we're about to start writing our contract, right? Contract. The contract is normally housed in a module. So make it public, pub mode, we call it counter, and then you see it's throwing error currently, right? If you hover over this, it's saying something, we are missing something, storage. So this means every single contract must have a storage, and that is what we're going to do right now. So we go for storage. Storage must be of type what? Struct. Storage. So right now it is happy. Our storage variable, we can go with what this guy is suggesting, counter set as U32. Then next thing we have to do now is define the events of our smart contracts. So that goes like so. With events, we have to mark it. Your event must be an enum. Please, if you have any question, like something you do not understand, you can easily write in the Q&A session, or you use the chat box so that we won't leave anybody behind. So like I was saying, your struct must be of type enum, and then you derive some functionalities, right? So that it can be copyable, can be droppable, depends on what you are trying to achieve. Derive, these are like traits. Derive, we want to drop. Drop simply means once it goes out of scope, it gets destroyed. All right, then we mark it with Starknet events. All right. Call it enum event. Now your event must, I believe it must bear this name as well. If we change it to something like sorry. So let's go over it and see what it's saying. See that must be named events. So these are like enforced. So you have to follow the rules. All right. So the first event we want to emit is when we increase counter, right? So call it counter increased, and of course we're gonna have the same thing down here, counter increased. All right. So neglect the errors for now. Then when we decrement, we also want to have that recorded. Yeah, thank you, man. Right now it's shouting that these are, unknown type. Okay, and I'm making a mistake here as well. So this is supposed to be comma and not a semicolon. What else is it talking about? Okay, right now, come down here. Let's implement this struct here. These are structs. So we mark it as well, call it derive. We are deriving drop, like we have up above, and then Starknet event. Call it, okay, counter increase. I think that should work. Then if we go down, we also have, this is taken care of. Then we're talking about this guy now, counter decrease. So we go with rise. All right, so we define a struct as counter decrease. Yeah. So okay, so everything is okay right now. So far, I believe so good. Does anybody have question as to what we are doing so far? You can use the chat section. Once you are done with this, the next logical thing that comes into the scope is your constructor. So if you don't know what a constructor is like a special function that runs only once at the point of deployment. So it's like you initializing some values you want your contract to have, like some default values, right? Okay. So for you to have a constructor as well, you need to tell the compiler, okay, I want to write a constructor of that. Okay. Then the function name should be also constructor. This thing is coming out. So take a reference to contract state. And now we call this initial value. All right, that should work, but not this guy here. This is wrong. So this is the initial value we want to set, for our contract. Now to set that value to the storage, say self dot. Our storage is what? Counter. Counter dot write. We're writing initial value, initial counter actually. Okay. Now that's that. Okay, this is what I was expecting. Now the what is it called? The compiler kind of takes care of it. You can remember I did not do this. I didn't import this. Meanwhile, this is how you import maybe libraries, functionalities that you want to use in your contracts with use keyword, then depending on the location. Okay. So after okay, I think I have. Okay. Can you copy the code to the chat? Are you not writing? Do it. Yeah. I just joined it. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, storytelling is amazing. But this is actually where you get to like write the code, right? And of course, you get to explain it as well. So you need to like get hands on it. Then, if you have any particular question, Daniel, please do not hesitate to like anything you do not understand, ask the question. I'll get to it. So can you please explain what's the T contrast state do? T contrast state here is just a placeholder. Okay, I can actually make it to be just okay. I think we did something like generics yesterday. Um, so we are making it is holding something for you that will eventually take its place, right? Uh, Placeholders. How is I have to explain it? So I don't know if you get what I'm trying to explain. See me, it's like a placeholder. It can be anything. It can be only T. It can be R. Like I can make it something like this. I can make it just T, right? Only T. But then I'll have to do this for everybody because they are inheriting what this person. Okay, yeah, all right. So if you make it T, you have to make it T all the way. Then the art sign here is trying to tell you that yes, I'm using an extension for Cairo 1. I will show you in a minute. So, all right, let me just go back to what we have. Then Cairo 1, this one. So you have to get it installed. Don't install Cairo 0. This is CDNA Cairo 1. Um, so that your code will look amazing. Okay. So going back to, okay, I just wrote this code. Is it okay if I just wrote this code? Use Starknet storage pointer access. Should it be imported or is it okay if I write it? Okay, it's actually important. What you just did there, like I said, we import using the keyword here, use. So that's like the path, Martin, that's the path to this particular storage pointer write access. There is also the read, which we are going to be using as well. So yeah, any other question before I proceed? Any other question? If there's no other question, next thing we have to do is implement the functionalities we have up here, right? Because currently these are like function signatures. They are not doing anything yet. But if we um, implement the logic and functionalities, then they will come to life. To make that happen, we use our ABI embed, embed and v0, and then we use the input. We're trying to implement the functionalities of the traits above. So implement, call it counter info of super, right? So the word super, we are trying to import something that is the interface we have up there, which is I counter. And then we're gonna use the contract state like that. Okay. Now, if you hover over this, you can see missing, get counter, increase counter. Like we have not implemented functionality. So this is a way that the compiler like comes to keep you in check. But sometimes your contracts might be so large, you have so many functionalities that might fail to implement some. But with checks like this, the compiler will, remind you of something, that something is actually missing. All right. Okay. Now let's implement function get counter. So this is a read-only function. I think that should work. Now it's talking about read. So we have to import it to go with this. Let's add it here. Comma storage read. All right. Okay. Then we continue with the next functionality, which is increment. So we have function increase counter, which takes reference. Is this correct? I think so. Let me just. So contrast state. Then first of all, we read current count. Let's call this current count. Okay. Then we are getting the current count by reading. Then once that is done, we increment it actually. So the right thing to do is, sometimes this will not be correct. Let's new, okay, I think this should work now. Let's new count equals current count plus 1. We're incrementing by 1. And at this stage, next thing we have to do is to write this new count to the state. So we say self dot count. Hope that is correct. But write new, is it counter? All right. Counter, right? Okay. So where is this guy coming from? So our guy my guy can mess you up at times, but that's okay. So we have, so what is happening here? First of all, we read the current state of the contract, stored it in a variable here. Then whatever the current state is, we incremented it by adding 1 to it. And right here, we are writing that incremented value, the new counter, to the state. After this, the next thing we have to do is emit events. We emit events, and how you emit events is by using self.emit, then this should be counter increase, right? Count in counter increase. Then we populate the rest of the stuff. Counter all right. So this is how you emit your events. Now, if you hover over this now, it's saying just 2 as opposed to 4. So let's move on to the next guy. I'll simply copy what we have there, since it's going to be like the opposite of this. I'll paste, and so this will be decrease instead of increase. Decrease. Okay, the current state, we'll also read it again. Then instead of increments, we have to decrement now. And what else? Then we write the new state to, then yeah, down here we have to change this as well to decrease. CSD, right? So yeah, like so. Now there's something we have to check for here, because if you remember 2 days ago when we were talking about fields, um, we don't actually want negative values in this contract, because the type we are using, which is type U32, can only take positives, right? So the least we can take is 0, 0, and then all the positive upwards till it has limit. It doesn't have, like, it's not as though it does not have ending. So it can only take 0. So we need to check for 0 values here before we write, actually. So before we write, you simply come here and say, as like a sanity check, right? Um, we say assert. We're trying to assert that, okay, new counter is greater than 0. Okay, yeah, that's okay. But then I will need to change this to single quotes. All right. So when we do we want it to strictly greater than, strictly, that should be better. So if our count is actually on 0, we don't want it going down to 0 minus 1 or whatever. That will give us negative. We don't want that. So we want it to be more than. So far, so good. No pressure. Remember, if you have any question, write it down so that you don't get left behind. We're almost there. Next thing we have to do is write functionality that can set, say, function set, I think this is correct. Okay. So we are setting, we are resetting it to 0. I think that should be that from. So for you to build your contract and make sure that it works, you use open your terminal, you write something like start build. Forget about the warnings. These are all like warnings. So far, is anybody following, like following along with what you are doing? So I think it was successful, right? There's no error here. I need some feedback. Are we following so far? Okay. Thank you. Tosin, Daniel, see you. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah. So this contract now, the way it is, There is no owner. Okay. One thing we can do to keep things in shape, because it means anybody can easily come and reset this particular stuff. We can actually add the owner of somebody that deploys it. We are setting that person to be the owner. So what we have to do to make that work, come down here and say owner. Now back in our storage, owner should be of type what? Contract address. Contract address. Okay. And then I will need to come here. So also I'll need to import contract address somewhere here. Use Starknet contract address. Okay, is that okay? And we still have an error. Okay. Can you reduce? Okay. Size of my time to finishing. That should be fine. Though I might still need to increase it because I need to see a last line of code like this. Yes. Okay, why is this guy complaining? That so if we sorry, I just ran this and it's working. Why is he complaining now? Let me go back to it. Um, okay, missing owner, member owner, right? So go all the I was even in the wrong place. Terrible. So we want to add this to our the storage, not struct of the event. So right now we need to initialize the owner here. Remember what the constructor does? It sets the default values that your contract will use. So say owner that contract address, I think, right? And right here we set it as self.owner dot, yeah. So the owner, whoever deploys this particular smart contract, gets to own uh, own the contract. All right. So let's go down here and see something. Now we can actually add some kind of control here so that anybody doesn't get to reset the counts. So we can do that by saying, let's get the caller address. Let the caller equals, use something like get caller address. It's actually a function, right? Now we have not imported it, so we need to go up. All right, so we go up to the level of our imports and simply maybe let's include it here. So this is how you like import multiple uh stubs in one line. Use the curly braces, and I want to get caller address, right? Okay, since I have a question. Got a bit lost when you introduced owner. Oh, okay. Okay. We introduced another variable to the storage variable because we want somebody that will be in charge, like the rightful owner of the contract. I didn't do much. All I did was to add this extra field here to the struct we have here. Let me see something. Just edit rather format. So you can actually format your code, star fmt, format your code and have something look better. So I would want somebody that will be in charge, right? Somebody so that doesn't look so lousy. Anybody call the reset your count. So we want the owner to be able to reset the count. And the other thing I did was to initialize the owner. Next thing I did was to initialize the owner at this stage. That's a constructor. Remember what we said about constructors? They run once at the point of deployment. All right. So coming down here, I'm trying to get the caller address. That's the person calling this function. Once I have that, then I will say let owner equals self. Okay, yeah, that should work. Then after that, I will assert that the caller is equal to the owner. Let me make this a little bit shorter. Else we throw this error, not the owner. This is better. So I don't know if you're still having the confusion, Mark. So we just want to make sure that the owner is the person that can reset this count. So if I deploy the contract and I'm the owner, you, Mark, cannot reset it. I'm the only one that can reset it. All right. Yeah, it's now clear. Thank you. So I think so far so good. Our contract is good to go. Next thing is to get into the deployment process. I don't think there is anything we need to add. Okay, last time. All right, okay. Somebody is talking. So instead of okay, yeah. We don't use require. We use assert. I think require is maybe solidity, but they actually work just like similar, right? So if this condition here is true, right? There's no need for the error message, and then we continue to this other line and execute what we have there. Before we proceed, any other question? Contract ready. Like I said, I hope we are, some of us are trying to put along. Now let's go back to this guy. Okay. So we are done with this session. Next session is deploying the contract. Did anybody change anything? Okay, so to deploy the contracts, we have to install something called Stackli. I already explained what it is, like a command line interface, like it's a tool, right? That helps you, this is the book. Let me copy and open so we can see. So if you want to interact with the network, Stackli is what you use. And this is the installation. It's very, very easy. Like you run this first command, then this other guy stack it up and you're good to go. That's for actually Linux. Then for people in Windows, you know the idea now, know the way. So okay, I think I should just paste this in the chat session so that if anybody is following, they can get it and join the group. All right, listen. Okay, I just pasted the link to Starkli. The installation is very, very basic. So first of all, you run this command here, the coil, get this. Then after that, you run Starkly up. You might need to restart the terminal for the changes to take effect. Okay. Then after that, I think you can actually check the versioning as well. Let me clear this. Meanwhile, I'm gonna make this slider so that I have that space. So I think this. Sorry. All right. We say start line function. Okay, made a mistake in the spelling. Start function somewhere here. Starkly. So I'm currently on this 0 point 3.7. Okay. Um, in real-time project, this can be structured in different parts. Yes, yes, you can actually structure it differently, but this is like a very, very small, we're trying to like get our hands dirty, so we're not doing anything complicated at this stage. Yeah, but you can structure it into different folders. Then maybe you house it in your lib.cairo. Yeah, as a point of entry. Okay, all right. So, I will be moving back to what I have here. So I have the same command here. You can actually follow what I have here in the slide. Copy this, and then you can confirm your version as well. Next, we create the signer. You know, the last time out we were talking about, I think it was on Monday, right? About account abstraction, how it was able to separate the signer from the contract. So now it's like a practical implementation of that. We're about to get that on it. So first of all, you need to obtain your private key. Yes. In the last class, we actually installed Braavos and Argent X. I think I worked also to how to install and set up accounts, even deploy the account. So you should have that. We added some token to it as well. We funded it. So you are meant to get a private key. Now let me go back to the browser I have this on. Quickly show you something. So I have these guys. Maybe I'll be using Braavos. So you sign in, right? Uh, you sign in to have access to your accounts. Okay. So mine is funded. Yours should be funded as well. And next thing we have to do to get your private key, you navigate to this gear button here. That's if you're using Braavos. Then you go to account security. Nope, that's wrong. Show private key, that's it here. So you enter your password, but I won't be doing it on the call, for security reasons. In as much as I don't have any money here, but like it's a good practice to always safeguard your private key. Okay. Now for people that wants to use agents, still the same thing. Let me see if I get access to this guy. All right. So you go to the account dangerous dog. That's what they call this. Export private key. You can see that, right? Click on it. Once again, you enter your password and see, never share these things. All right. So I will stop sharing for a moment so that I will be able to grab my private key. Now you can do that as well. All right. All right. Welcome back. I've copied my private key and now I will share my screen one more time. Okay. All right. I think we can see my screen right now. Going back to VS Code. Uh, that's crazy, man. Okay, but that's okay. You shouldn't do that, especially if you have something reasonable there. All right. So I know we are good guys on the course, so nobody will touch my tokens. Okay. So the first thing we have to do is run this command Starkli signup, this guy here. Okay. So I'll copy this. I hope we are following. I'll copy this, go to my, and I'll paste it here. Let me expand it so that we will see something happening as we, I'll paste it, right? Now it says enter private key. So the private key you copied, you should enter it here. Now it won't be visible, but go ahead and click enter. I will stop sharing one more time. Grab my private key, but I've copied something else. So, um, all right. So welcome back. So I'll enter my private key and I will hit enter. It will prompt you to enter a password, right? Enter the password you can remember. Please don't give any space while doing this things. Now our public key has been created for us, and it is stored in this particular account key store file here. So this is like the signer. It's like your phone. This is like your phone now, but not hard, like without hardware. Yeah, so it contains the details that we will use in signing our transactions. Next thing we have to now create is contains our private key is here. So next thing we have to create now is what the account. All right, so if I go back to our slide, let me capture this and bring it over so that you know how to see. Next thing, okay, all right, is to fetch the account. The account we just created. So copy this. Now to fetch account, you can either use an RPC, like you can see here, or you can just take the one above and it will use default value for parameter. So here we are going to add our wallet address. So you copy the wallet address of your agent or your Braavos. Okay. Nobody has joined my account so far. All right. I will copy the address, and then I'll simply go back to somewhere so that I'm able to. So we change. You see the placeholder there? We change it to our address, and then we click enter. So warning. This is like a warning, right? Since we are not using any RPC, it's using something like the default as a Pooler network. Okay. So we are expected to see something like this. And if you notice, so another file was created here for us. I think that should be this guy here, the account. Okay. So this is the guy that have the private key store, then this is the account. Remember, the two we have to interact in order to give us what we want. So far, I believe everything is okay. Does anybody have any issue? I don't think so. Move on to the next. Now deploying the contracts. For the for the fun of it, let's just view it one more time. But we've already done this. Okay, let me clean and show you what happens when you do this. Start clean. All right. So if you okay, if you build start build as a file that get generated for you. Okay. Watch my explorer. Something will appear there, something target. You can see that just appeared. So expand it. Now, when you expand, we are looking for contract class. This first guy here, right? You can see there's a lot of things that probably we can't even understand, but that's okay because we are not actually mandated to understand it, right? It's not our business. The only thing we have to do is to work with this. So that's your contract class. I see the name there. So after this, we need to declare our contract. This is like the process of deploying on Starknet. So I'll copy this and then I'll paste it somewhere here so that I can format one or two. Right here it says the placeholder says part of contract class hash.json. So I'll come right here, I'll click and use my relative parts. That should be shorter. And then I'll just squeeze, add it here. All right. So what is happening here? That's the Starkli that we just installed a few minutes ago. And then we have declare. This is like you are trying to submit your contract to the network. Okay. You are trying to declare. You are declaring, you are sending the code we've written here to the network. That's Starknet. And then we are doing that with an account which we have created. Then the key store. Remember, the two come together to perform the transaction, like we rightly saw the last time. All right. So I'll copy this that I have here and cut it. Yes. I'll paste it here and run the command. Hopefully everything will be fine. Enter your password. Um, class has declared. So right now we have declared this, and this is evidence that the class hash was actually declared. I think you can actually see this in the net Starkscan. Let's quickly check it out. Okay, go back now. Um, Starkscan. All right. So I'll open my Starkscan. I'll navigate to testnet because we're working with Sepolia. Then I paste this. Okay, paste is no longer working. All right, it's there. So you can confirm it from your end. This is the time. My time is 7 something Nigerian time, 7:23. Okay, yeah. So you can see the and then the dates. All right. So from here, we go back and see what we're supposed to do next. Right now, we're about to deploy. So I'll copy this. Go back to this place. Then, yes, something just came to my mind. Since we're talking about practices, right? Okay, this is like contract hash declared. That is this guy here. So we're supposed to copy this guy below and replace this placeholder here. Okay, paste it here. All right. So if I thought you want to push this code to your GitHub, I'm talking about practices now. Make sure you add this and this to your git ignore, right? So that you can see that. So you can easily copy those. Let's copy, paste. You can do this for the two, so that you know you'll be on the safer side. Just like I said. Okay. So back to this. I'll copy this. We're about to deploy the contract. I grab everything. Port, right? And come down here. Now there's something you need to remember. We're about to deploy, right? And if you look through our smart contracts, we have our smart contract has something they call constructor. So this constructor, you need to supply the values at the point of deployment, right? Okay. Why is this guy complaining? So the constructor now takes two parameters, right? And that's the initial counter and contract address. So to include that, we just have to write our initial counter. Let's make it 3, all right? And then for contract address, I'll be using mine. So you can use yours. We'll simply copy contract address from our wallet. Let's copy there. Go back to this place. I'll paste it somewhere here. Okay. Then hit enter. Enter your password. Hopefully everything works. If not, I don't know what to do again. All right. It works. So contract deployed to this particular address here. Now we copy this and then navigate to our this guy is not I'll go to our Starkscan so that we can, interact with this. So hopefully it has arrived. Taking okay there. So I can see the time as well. 1926. So 7, so far we'll be able to deploy the contracts that we wrote here. I think that's massive actually. We didn't encounter any okay, that's what I'm trying to say here as well. So next session in our slide is to interact with the contract, right, and the testnet. So what we have to do right now is navigate to this. Okay, right, okay, I think I have some questions. So we don't need writing. No, you don't deploy, you don't write any script right now. Okay, Daniel raised his hand, and also is the command handling the yes, verification is done at the back end, with Sharp. I think we talked about it yesterday. So we're not doing it's like under the hood. Okay, Daniel, you're raising your hand. I don't know. You still want to talk, or because I think the hand is down now. Can't see it again. All right, so Daniel, if you have any question, just you can write it, or yeah, I'll get to it. So okay. Thank you. We found the answer in the notion link. Okay. Ellie, I would like to know if the constructor entry point, which part is callable from our side? The entry point to the contract is the place we marked ABI. Like, I don't know what you mean by entry point, but if you want to interact with this contract at all, the functions, like the functionalities that is under this place, this implementation, these are the ones you can have access to. Your constructor, like we said before, is like it helps you to set initial values. That is what it does. I hope that is okay. Ellie. Okay. So let's go back to which part is callable from outside. I just explained this right now. The part you can call from outside is every functionalities under the ABI. Remember what ABI is, right? I think it's a application binary interface, right? For interaction. So yes, these are the ones you can call from the outside. And that is what we're about to actually witness right now. Okay. So yes, let me copy this so that we can go to where I have a wallet, which is this particular browser. And then, all right. So this is the contract. Then you can see the date. We'll go to this session, read write. We don't need wallet to interact with this get count because it's a read only. So if I query this, can somebody tell us what we are expecting to get in the chat box? Let me know if you're actually following. What are we expecting to get? Remember, we talked about setting initial values, right? With the aid of the constructor. So what are we, what are we expecting to get right now? Are you still typing or you are lost? Which one? Okay, that shouldn't be too difficult. If you just go back to the place we deployed the contract, this is the command. We added 3 here. So we're expecting to see 3 as the initial value. So let's confirm that. And that is what we have here, 3. Now, if we navigate to the right section, in this case, we have to connect our wallet, right? Okay, I'm connecting Braavos. Now it's connected. You can see the 61C6. That's something you have. I'm about to increment. I write. And then down here, I will see how cheap the whole thing is. We are paying 0.000, like something not 1 cent. Very, very cheap, like, okay. So I think that is done. So if I go back to read now and try getting the count one more time, let me see what happens. It has increased to 4, right? Let's all right. It has increased to 4. And then this is the interaction we're talking about, right? If we can increase again one more time. Okay, we need to connect our wallet. Okay, let's increase with another wallet, with another address. This guy's still open. All right. So I will connect with my agent now, Argent X, and I will increment one more time. Okay, I will confirm the transaction, and then if I go back, counter increase. You can see that. So we can actually view it too on the Stackli, but let's just see it here in action. So I'm expecting 5 right now. That is it. So remember, we did not deploy. The owner of the contract is not this guy here. It's not Dangerous Dog. So let's see what happens when we try resetting, because there's a clause there that the only person that can reset the count is the owner, right? So if we try writing, that's to change. Oh, let me connect first. Okay, agents. So I write. Now, can you see something here? TX not, that's transaction not executed. Reason, not the owner. And that is the in our contract. Actually, I think that's the error message we gave, not the owner. Okay. So so we reject this, it's not gonna work. All right. So but if we disconnect, meanwhile, let's confirm that everything still works from this end. Query one more time. Still 5. And then we go back, connect to Braavos, which is actually the owner of the contract. And then it's connected, right? We try this. Now we are able to sign the transaction. Okay. Why is it taking time? Let me see if it's actually done. Now it's done. You can see that it's now 0. So I believe we, you know, will understand what I've done right now. This is how you deploy your contracts and interact with it as well, so that you get to understand, make sure the functionalities is actually working. Now we're using mainnet, testnet, right? Yes. So I don't know if anybody has any question at this juncture. If there's no question, then we have to proceed. Can we get access to the code so that we can go through it? Okay, yeah. Thank you, Simon. Somebody is lost. Martin. Which parts are you lost in? Like, from which parts? So that we know how to find you. Yes, we can get, I don't know, can I just copy this and paste? How exactly is signing taking is how, just one, how exactly is signing and using the other taking away the 5 to 0. Okay, we said something about resetting now. Yeah, this is the logic here. See reset. So we are resetting it to 0. It's that simple, like, yes. It's not Braavos that's doing it. It's our logic in our contracts. Okay, I believe that's clear enough. Then, Martin, I'm still waiting to hear from you. Which part you're lost? Maybe I can just brush up something and get you up to speed. Yes, yes, Tosin. Okay, it doesn't have to be so hard. Yes, it's actually interesting. You know, the connection parts. The connection parts. Uh, Martin, which part of connection part, like, be specific so that we can help you? Yeah, Tosin is actually interesting. Yes. So I believe by the end, when the bootcamp will be over, you'll be so much in love with it. Yes. Okay. Okay, let me see if I can. I don't think I can paste the code, um, but you can actually get access to it after. Let's not get to the hard part there. This is basics. No, it doesn't have to be so difficult actually, right? When you're about to deploy, okay, when we're about to deploy to Braavos. Hmm. Okay, deploying to Braavos. I gave the steps in okay, deploying contracts. We're not actually deploying, okay, with Braavos. This is the command. This is where we started from. Once you have Stackli installed, you install it by using this set of commands. Then you confirm your installation so that there will be a version that gets printed out. Talking to Martins right now. Then after that, once you have the version on your terminal, you simply get your private key. Is it getting the private key that's the issue here? Martins, I'm asking you. Is it the private, getting the private key? Okay, I got it. All right. Then you run this next command, and this command will prompt you to paste your private key, which you got from one, like step 1 here. Then you paste it. It won't be visible, like it's explained right here. But okay, okay. That's okay. All right. Okay. You paste the private key, it won't be visible. Just click enter, then you enter password, right? Uh, After that step, you then run this particular command. While using your wallet address, you have to replace this. This is like a placeholder here. Placeholder, you replace, put your wallet here. Then this account we've created already. Okay, the name of the account, see the flag here, output. So that's the name. You can actually change it if you want, much later. Change it to whatever you want. So the output, we have this particular name here. And so we still have testing to do. Wow. Okay. I think then, like I said, you can actually use an RPC if you want. I can get RPC here. There's a link I attached to the slideshow. And after that, then you build your contract, you declare the contract. From this build, you are going to get a certain path to your contract class, which you have to replace, place it here, place of the placeholder. And then when you have successfully declared, see here, we have successfully declared the contract. We copy this class hash and then replace it, this placeholder as well. Then you just copy the command as it is. Replace this with the class hash you got from 2 and you refine, then execute. Remember to add your constructor arguments. Okay. Okay, that's about that for now. And next thing, I believe that's clear enough, Martin. All right. So now we are done with the contracts. Also remember to handle this. So we'll move on to this guy. So we attempt so that we can have. We're about to get into testing right now. You know. Meanwhile, the interaction we just did is a way of testing as well. Just that sometimes you might not have, the strength to deploy and then begin to interact. Okay, yeah, welcome, Martin. So you might not have the strength to like to deploy before you can interact with the UI. But yes, that's no problem. Actually, you can actually do it yourself. With your on your PC, right? Yes, you can do that yourself as well. So that's what we're about to get into. Let me close this. I think we're done with this one. All right. So in your project file, there's another. Now I have to collapse this. There's another folder here, test. This is where you write your tests, right? And so let's see if we can write a test or two before we call it a day. Okay. Oh, where's my contract? Let me show this thing that we have. Okay. All right. Yes, I have it back. So now we're on to testing. Do you have any slideshow on this? Okay, we are done with this. What is testing? Testing process of evaluating the system or component to determine, actually, like the word says, testing. But testing to see if it actually works, right? It doesn't have to, there's a lot more complicated than this. Just testing it out to see if it actually works. Now, we have types of testing. We have unit testing and then integration testing. I think there are more, but these are the two we are going to be talking about in this session. So the main goal to identify defects, verify functionalities, and assess overall, like we said, to test the system and make sure that it works. Now we are going to be using Starknet Foundry for this. I already told us this. So if you don't have it, maybe you have issue installing it, maybe after the class, we'll have another call and help us um, get it installed. But meanwhile, I pasted the link earlier. You can just go through this installation process. I think it's quite straightforward. You install it and yes, you get on with it. Okay. So uh, so unit testing involves testing like individual functions in isolation. Now you use this, for example, in this contract we can actually see in this instance, we have another folder that we write mark as test, right? But for unit testing, we can actually do it within this file as well. And then we begin to evaluate and to make sure that the functionalities work as intended. Um, okay, fast to run. So nothing so special about this. Now for integration testing, meanwhile, before we get here, let's just quickly um, have maybe a quick H.E.R project, H.E.R program. Let's call it scab, scab name, um, quick Okay, quick test. Now I'm gonna use this other guy, Pyro test, and then I'll cd into, sorry, this guy is covering my, let's see, right. Then I'll cd into the new quick, open this guy, we're gonna call the editor, expand you, then I'll clean whatever we have there. It's function main, don't have clean function main. Now we have the first functionality. We need to have maybe like function that adds two values. Function add, okay. This guy is trying to help me. Oh, we're out of time actually. So yeah, we use some help here. Function multiply. So yes, this is your function, and let's just make sure everything works. Let a equals 10. Let's b equals 20. Sorry, equals 20. So that if I call the functionalities, say add these guys, and then multiply these guys, I'll simply, okay, this should be very tiny. Let me increase it a bit. All right, so I check this out. Now, right, stab, Cairo, Cairo, that's correct. Cairo wrong. Let me see what happens. Once it's successfully compiled, then everything is fine. This is like how you say it's successful, so we are good to go. So this is how you execute unit test. Now to write the test, you have to mark it up with uh, a test attribute to tell the compiler, okay, we are about to test something, right? So we do this CFG test, right? Then usually has this in a module, call it module test, and then have to import the functionalities you are aiming to test. And use super because it's directly above this file. It's above, like outside of this mode. Okay, super add. I think we can actually import the two here. Let's see if that will work. And then multiply, yes, like so. So we have imported the functionalities from here into our testing module. Now to test, you must have to write it as a function marked with this testing attribute. And then I think this guy is going test add, and then we get the other one function uh multiply, test multiply here. Okay, so to test, make sure that this works, use the command line, say start Cairo test. The other one is wrong. This is test. So when you're testing, you use start Cairo test. Now you can see that it works. Okay, it's supposed to be two actually. We didn't mark up this, and hence the guy, our compiler did not take note of it. It was only one that passed. So if we run it one more time, this is what unit testing like basically is all about. Now you can see two tests passed. That is two that we have here and here. Remember, your test must be within a function. So we have the function here, and then you supply the arguments. That's like saying 10 plus 10 is equivalent to 30. That is what this set equal. It's asserting that what you have on this side is equal to what you have on this side. multiplication goes like that. 10 times 20 gives you 200. Oh yeah. So yeah. Okay. So that's what uh, unit testing is all about. Now for integration testing, this involves like working with maybe multiple files. Maybe somebody was talking about that this is the easy part. I don't know, maybe that's what person is referring to. Now you can have so many contracts that are trying to interact with themselves, right? So that is where uh, integration testing like excels, right? So okay, I have a shot. Yes, see me. You have to the test. That's the hash. That's hash, right? Uh, yeah, this guy must be in every single test you want to test. And that's the one. So if you're gonna have like 20 tests, 20 tests, so you're gonna have 20 of these. Yes. So that the compiler will know, all right, you're about to test something now. And then it takes it off and yeah. Okay. So let's continue. Okay, so I'll have this. All right, so we are continuing with our integration testing, like we were saying. Um, so say it's slower, when you have so many contracts interacting with themselves, obviously that will require a little bit more of work on the compiler side to bring it all together. So yes, the time taking is completely understandable. And yeah, real world kind of closely. Now, why test? I think we already answered this before. Identify and fix bug. Then when you're writing smart contracts, sometimes money is involved. So you actually need to test out the functionalities and make sure that everything works as intended. Then you verify correctness. Then I mean, you as a developer, after you've written your code and you test it, it works. You are going to, you'll be happy. Okay, I'm doing something right. Yes. So next slide is about the testing tool. Majorly, we use Starknet Foundry for testing. So I think I already confirmed the version I have. Maybe I should just do that one more time. SN forge dash dash version. So yes, I have this, but I should have more than this. ASDF list Starknet Starknet found. Hope that's correct. Okay, I'm currently on this. So I'm probably gonna move on to ASDF shell 0.0 37.0, right? I want to use the latest. Okay, that's wrong. I'm supposed to think attach the Starknet bar, right? Yes. So if I check the SN forge one more time, dash dash version. Now I think it's almost 8, but I'm gonna take like few minutes of our time, but we won't actually start on time. Yeah. So yeah, currently I'm on 3 points. This I think that's the latest. For some of us that have installed it, you might see this actually 3.7. I want us to work with the same. Uh, but this will actually conflict with my what I have on my start. From let's continue for now. All right. So I think we're about to like get started with testing out the smart contract. Let's try and write, even if it's maybe two functionalities, then we can call it a day. We can always build on what we've learned and yeah, get better. So back to the VS Code. Now, this is like similar to what we did earlier with the testnet. First of all, you have to deploy the contract, right? Because it's only when you deploy the contract that you can interact with the contract. Yes, so but now we are not going to do it on the testnet. Rather, we do it with SMForge runner. So it has a emulator that emulates whatever things on Starknet, that's testnet. So everything that works can honestly work on the testnet and mainnet at least. That's an option. Yeah. All right. So probably need to clean this. So first and foremost, we um, import some functionalities that will help us uh, declare our contract. So from this guy, SN4 STD, that's like from Starknet Foundry, we are getting these libraries. We need to declare. Declare helps us in declaring the contract. Declare. I think probably need to follow this so that I'll have space. Or yeah. Okay. All right. After declare, we get uh contract class trade. Okay, then we get declare. These are like functionalities that will help us declare the contract. Also obtain the class hash. Declare declare, right? Declare result result trade. Okay. Um then something else we need for now, let's just work with this. Okay. So uh, next thing we need is to import dispatchers, something called dispatchers. Now dispatchers are like, just like the word dispatchers. Maybe if you want to, if you order something from one of your online vendors, somebody brings it to you, right? I think they are called dispatchers. So dispatchers, they serve the same purpose right here. They help like bring in the state of our contract. They are generated from the interface, right? This interface, the compiler automatically generates these dispatchers for us. So we don't have to worry about it actually. So yeah, we don't have to worry about it. There are actually two of them. We have, so we're gonna import it using use counter, overrides count, actually count. And then we get I. You see, it follows the convention of the how you wrote your trait. So how you named it, I counter dispatcher. That's first one. Second one is I counter dispatcher trait. I see that. Okay. And then okay, we have gotten what we need. Next is to deploy. So write a function that is going to deploy the contracts for us. Call it FN as function deploy counter. Deploy count. So remember when we deployed with the other, when we used the Stackli, we had to supply some values, right? The two values we supply were the initial amount and then the owner. So that same rule applies here as well. So what we have to do is grab the initial, let's call it initial counter. What doesn't initial count? Let's go start U32. Then like so. Now we also need the contract owner. To generate somebody that owns the contract, we quickly do something like function owner. This is how you generate contract address, out of the box. So so we are going to return this as a contract address. All right. Then here we use short strings and say owner. And we try and convert this to felt. And then we unwrap the process. It's actually a felt at the moment. We are trying to convert it towards to a contract address. All right. So what is this guy talking about? Annotation needed. Meanwhile, our contract address is we haven't imported it yet, so we have to import it as well. Use Starknet contract address. All right. So like this, we have successfully created an address that we are going to designate as the owner of the contract. All right. I hope there's no question so far. And right here, we then get right down to it. Okay, right now we are going to return the dispatcher. Okay, so let's return I count dispatcher, right? And then first thing first, sorry, this is not how you return. You have to return properly. Yeah. First thing first, we declare the contract. That we do by saying let's contract class because we use the declare we have up above, and then the name of the contract is what? Counter. Yeah. It's counter. I hope that's correct. If you want to safer side, usually okay to just copy this. Copy and paste. Because they have to be the same. Else they might run into what's that? Let me just take. Then we unwrap. That's a way to get a result from this. And then we convert whatever the result is to a class, contract class. Okay. So what is happening down there? Okay. So I'm not returning this. After this, we have to populate our constructor. So we define, let's make it mutable because it will be taking core data. Core data is like a variable that will hold our constructor is equal to. Okay, this is becoming I'm gonna take it off. We use array macro. I know we are familiar with array macros already. Yeah. So we just leave it empty at the moment. Meanwhile, this is not supposed to be so it has to be blocked like this. Then we end it. So after this, we have to convert this value to uh, felt, because this functionality here, let's see, declare. That's not the one I want. Okay, let's just keep going for now. That's something I will show us later. So we serialize the data. That's initial count dot serialize. We make a reference to core data. Remember what reference does? It's like the borrowing. So we're not transferring ownership. I believe you all know what that is all about. Right now, next thing we have to convert is the owner, right? Owner as a function that will be found right here. This owner here is the person we are trying to remember at this point is a contract address. But right now we are trying to convert it into a field. So dot serialize, we reference the core data as well. And so far, I think we've gotten the two parameters that our constructor uses, right? These are the two. Next thing we have to do now is to deploy the contract class that we have here. So we go with let's call it contract address, right? So our contract address, okay, is that correct? Contract address that we have to deploy. No, this shouldn't be a reference. Instead, we are going to take a snapshot of this and then we get the value. So like this, we have successfully deployed the contract. See the value there, we deployed it. And yeah, let me see this. So you can see the core data. I was trying to tell us something about core data. Is of type array. This is like under the hood, right? So it's an array. That's why we had to like serialize this contract address, like convert it to an array, and also convert the U32. This is of type U32 currently. So we have to convert it here to an array of pelt. All right. So the next thing we have to do right now is to return our dispatcher. Because so we have something like an A contract dispatcher, call it contract address. Yes, now we have returned the dispatcher with the contract address. Right now we can begin with our testing, right? So let's first of all increment, or maybe let's test the deploy first and see if it works. Okay. Let me run. Now, earlier I used H.E.R run test. That is for H.E.R programs, right? But if you look here, you can see something here. We are giving under the script. So this guy is the reason we're able to because of, if not for this script, you are supposed to write SN4 test, right? But because it is somewhere here, taken care of for us, so we can easily write start test and yeah, everything will be fine. Okay. So going back to this, we don't have any tests. You can see everything is zero at the moment. Test pass zero, everything is zero. So to start our test, we do our usual stuff, test, and then we mark function test, deploy, deploy contrast. No, I'm trying to deploy the contrast. So yeah. So yes, this guy is trying to help us here. So we can say let's initial count. Well, let's go with that. Let initial count equals 0. And then at that point, this is like the value of the constructor. We are trying to pass it so that we can deploy. Now uh let's call it counter, equals deploy counter. Yeah. Okay. So after that, rather let's increase this and make it 2 or maybe 3. I think we like 3, like we did in the previous one. So after that, we attempt to get the current count. Let's current count equals, we take this because this guy now represents our contract that we just deployed, right? So it should have everything inside of it. Say this type not found, get count. I think we did get count. I think we said get count. Yes, that's the one we used. So yeah, now we assert that the current count is equivalent to initial, right? Initial count. Else, say not looking good, man. Not looking good. All right, let's run and see what happens. Scab test. Hopefully everything works. Okay. I'm taking your time so far. So just give me like 5 more minutes and then wrap it up. So it passed, right? Everything passed. So if we change this, let's say instead of using the initial count that it was, and say, okay, no, I'm saying that this is 2. Let's see the behavior of the uh, of the test. Let's see what the test is going to tell us. Is it going to pass or will it fail? So you can see that it failed. We are expecting 3, but somehow somebody gave us 2. That is wrong. So we have to get it back to what it was, initial count. So we have tested that this deployment works. Let's now maybe test one more thing. Panic. No, but Esther, are you there?
Yes, I am right here.
Okay.
Following.
I don't know. Should I continue or?
Okay, so I see we are 10:17. So maybe we can,
Yeah.
do you still have so much content? So maybe we can just wrap up.
What I have, I don't think I can finish it, but this is the basics.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if anybody can get this, they can always build on this. Although there are other like advanced cheat codes that we have not touched. something like, so I don't know, maybe I will just have to get the code across so that if we go through it, I'll have to comment it. Then that might help, I guess. Then Daniel is raising his hand. Is that a question, Daniel? Yeah, Daniel, you can talk. Daniel. Okay. Okay, okay, awesome, awesome. I see. No pardon. Okay, 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 no pardon. All right. So, Esther, uh, what's our final say? Should we go ahead and run the next test or?
So I actually just extended to 10:30. So I think
Okay.
we have like 10 minutes or so, yeah.
All right. Awesome, awesome. Okay, let's see how far we can go with that, and then we round up with it. So we just tested that the deployment works. Now let's test for a scenario whereby somebody increases the counter to the point that um, the value we have here, U32, U32 has a max. The max value of U32, you can actually get it by, I think, getting something like 2 raised to power 32 minus 1. This is actually a big number. Let me see if Google can help me in calculating it so that I'll show you something. Let me see this calculate. Yes, yes, indeed. All thanks to Google. Can I copy this? Alright, I think I can copy it. So last time out we were giving a document, was it URL, how to convert values, right? So for you can't just pass this value like that. So if I paste it in this converter, is it converter? Okay, it's a converter. All right. So this is actually the short equivalent is there, right? And then we have this hex equivalent. String is like this. So we are interested in this guy here. So I will copy it, and then remember the idea of overflow. I don't know if we know something called overflow. The idea of overflow, like just like saying your tank is full and you try adding more water or whatever you're adding to it, it will obviously overflow. Like it's already full, right? So the highest number this data type as U32 can take is this value here. If we try adding one more value to it, that means it's going to overflow. Okay, it's not going to take it. So that's why we have to handle that scenario in our contract. Say test, call it function test increment counter overflows. All right, not interested in motivation, bro. For doing something crazy. All right, so bring this down. Okay, but actually it's giving us something reasonable. I will say let's initial uh, initial initial count. No, we're setting our initial count. Sorry, no, I'm not going to take it from now. So we just replace this with what we have somewhere. So this is what we got from the converter, not like doing any magic here. got it from here. So we are setting this to be our initial. Remember, the initial that we're setting now is the highest value that U32 can take. So let's see how it reacts. Now, after that, we deploy the contract. I think that's correct. So deploy using this max value. And then after that, we try incrementing, right? We increment. So say counter counter dot increment. No, that's not what your wrap it. Is this correct? This guy can mess you up at times. Counter dot, let's see what we have. The increase counter is what we have. So yes, not implement something else. So yes, now let's run the test. So what's happening here? We actually, like I said, declared the highest value that U32 can take. Call it max, okay, max value of U32. And then we deploy here using that max value. So we are currently, our state of our contract currently is at the max. And now we are trying to increment it here. Let's now see what happens if we test. Don't worry about the warnings. It's all good. So we're expecting one to pass and maybe one to panic. Yes, one passed and one failed because this is the reason. Add overflow, right? So we can handle this particular scenario by adding an attribute that's called should panic. We're saying that since we're expecting the test to fail, right? We say this should panic. This way we'll be able to circumvent the failing test. Rather, we get a passing test. All right, let's try again. All right. So should panic. Yes, they want it, they go to panic. So we successfully pass the process. Hopefully it passes. So you can see now we still have that error message, but our test passed. Okay, so I think we'll be calling it a day here. Maybe as a take home, you can try incrementing the value, right? So we have some functionalities you can work on. Let's go back to the contract and see. We tested increments when it was maxed anyways. And also we get counts. We tested this one when we got counts. When we deployed, we were able to get the count of at the point of deploying is actually what it's meant to be. So you can actually work on incrementing and resetting as your take home. All right. So just follow this same process that I have there. And yes, let me see what you can do. Meanwhile, let me just give you a heads up for the what is it called? For this particular testing, in if you want to test, if you want to reset the owner or the counter, I mean, you have to make sure that the owner is the one calling the reset function. Remember when we deployed with Braavos, we had to reset the contract using Braavos. That's the Braavos, which is the wallet we deployed with. When we tried with Argent, it says not owner. So this case, for you to get the owner, actually you have the owner here. Let me check it out. Either you use this owner here, or If you want to simulate somebody else, then that's when you start using something called prank. So you are pranking the address, Starkly CLI prank address. So these whole things are actually in the docs. I believe I shared in the docs because we can't finish everything in this session. And obviously, I mean, we have like past 2 hours. So if you go to this particular book, everything you need is here. And maybe if you're stuck somewhere, you can always ask questions. I'll do the best I can to guide you through. Thank you. Now, if you have any question, please you can ask. Otherwise, we're stopping it right. Thank you. All right, Esther, are you there?
Yes, I am right here. I wasn't sure if you are done or if you're still continuing, but yeah, I think today's session has been quite lengthy and intensive, and I hope that many people are, I see they've been asking questions. I hope that they actually have understood, or even better, I hope that you all are in the chat. So in case you're still having any further questions or you need any further clarifications, do not hesitate to ask in the chat. We will be happy to help, happy to support. Thank you so much, Country Cousin, for the amazing session that you've had today. I really, really appreciate your effort and your time to just take us through the sessions today. And also thank you everybody for your consistent in just attending the sessions. I think this is the last session for this week. So we will resume again next week with now dev tools exploring scaffold stack. So I will greatly advise you to continue building, because with scaffold stack, it will be more like building on whatever you already have learned, Cairo and Starknet, and just like building up onto that and just pinning it up now. So yeah, so having said that, we are also going to share feedback forms. So I will share it in your emails, and also I will share it in the chat, in the Telegram chat. So please give us your feedback. Let us know what you enjoyed, what you would love for us to do better for the future sessions before next week. We will be really, really happy to see those and just to even advance and just do something better for the next sessions. I think that's it from me. I don't know if anyone has a question. If you have a question, please, this is the time for you to ask. And yeah. Okay, I don't think anybody has a question. Yeah, so also we would love to have your GitHub. So give us your GitHub links on the feedback forms so we can add you to the code base for Starknet Basecamp with H.E.R, Devcamp Africa session. We have created a GitHub, so we want everybody to have access to that. Just want everybody in one space so we can have you all there, and it's easy even to like just go and check out the projects that you're working on and give you more mentorship and more guidance. This is very, very important, especially for the sessions that we are starting next week, and also since we will also be exploring stack links, etc. So that would be really, really amazing, and it's a great way to start to build and to, whenever there's opportunities in Starknet ecosystem, obviously you'll have like proof of work, and it will be easier for you to just pull up something from this Basecamp, since they usually prioritize people, builders that have gone through the Basecamp. And yeah, I think she'll be fine. Yeah, thank you also for your consistent, and everyone for just showing the love that you're showing. As always, we will upload the recording on YouTube, and you'll share them on Notion page, and you'll share the Notion page links again. It's just the same link, so we keep sharing just in case someone misses on the Notion links, and in case someone needs like more guidance and they just recently joined and they're not aware of where to get those. So yeah, I think that's it. It's pretty late here, so it's like 10, almost midnight. So I think I will definitely end the session here. And good night, everybody. I hope to see you all next week again. Otherwise, we will be in the chat. Let's keep chatting. Let's keep building. And yeah, until next time. Bye, guys.